Okay, welcome to the City of Canyon City Planning Commission meeting Wednesday, January 27th, 2021. I now call this meeting to order. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Denise, will you please call roll?
Certainly. Good evening, everyone. Chairman Maloney,
Here.
Commissioner Clark,
Here.
Commissioner Clement,
Here.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Here.
Commissioner Moss,
Here.
Commissioner Souther,
Here.
Commissioner Randy Smith.
Here.
That's it.
Thank you. At this time, item number 3, I ask for approval of minutes from October 28th, 2020 and December 16th, 2020 Planning Commission. I'll ask if we have any corrections. Do we have any others than the ones that we were already aware of? Okay. So I need a motion and a second to approve those minutes, please.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes from October 28th and December 16th of 2020.
I will second that motion.
Thank you. Denise, please call roll.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Randy Smith,
Aye.
Chairman Maloney,
Aye.
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Aye.
Commissioner Moss,
Aye.
Commissioner Souther.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Item 4A, Fire Station Property Zoning and Minor Subdivision. Applicants, Canyon City Fire Protection District, David Delvecchio. Chief, owner, Lawrence Hunter. All Redden Associates project representatives. Location is 3020 East Main Street, south side of Main Street, approximately 1,350 feet west of Steinmeier Avenue. I now open this public meeting. The provisions of the City Municipal Code and in particular Title 17 thereof, the subdivision regulations and the comprehensive plan of the City of Canyon City are incorporated into the record of the hearing as of set forth verbatim. Patrick, can we have a staff report, please?
Certainly. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Commission. This evening, we are here to consider the request by the Canyon City Area Fire Protection District concerning the property they seek to develop as the location for Fire Station Number 3. This property is not currently within the incorporated city limits of Canyon City. Planning Commission may recall that last year in 2020, the city revised its annexation procedures to make them consistent with Colorado state statute, not only to simplify the process, but also to mitigate against potential liability associated with deviating from state statute. Consequently, although there is a pending annexation associated with this project, the annexation will be heard by council on February 15th. Planning Commission's role this evening is to consider the other land use requests associated with this property, specifically the zoning of the property to a zone district recognized by the Canyon City Municipal Code and the minor subdivision of this property into 3 lots. The subject property is located at 3020 East Main Street. It is 6.02 acres in area and is situated approximately 1,350 feet west of the intersection of Main Street and Steinmeier Avenue. Although the site is currently vacant, there is an existing water tap which serves the site, indicating that a building was once located there, most likely a residence. It is unclear when the structure would have been removed, but from available records from the county assessor's database, it would seem to indicate the demolition occurred more than 40 years ago. As Planning Commission will recall, last year Title 16 was amended to make the city's annexation process consistent with state statute. This means the annexation request will proceed directly to council for a hearing on February 15th, but the other components of this request must be evaluated by Planning Commission. And recommendations concerning these land use applications must be considered by Planning Commission and recommendations forwarded on to City Council. The Canyon City Area Fire Protection District has requested the zoning of C General Commercial District as defined by Section 17.12.130 of the Canyon City Municipal Code. As part of the annexation, all properties must concurrently request a zone district to be applied to the subject property, and the zoning must be one which is established within the Canyon City Municipal Code. This should not be thought of as a rezoning, since the property has not previously been zoned in Canyon City. Therefore, the three criteria applied to rezoning requests in section 17.40 are not applicable in this instance. C General Commercial is a zoning most commonly applied to parcels within the city limits along the East Main Street, US Highway 50, Fremont Drive corridor. Indeed, in the three most recent annexations along East Main Street processed in the last decade, all three, which include the Great Western Storage property at 3070 East Main, the NNS subdivision, which houses both the Bureau of Land Management's regional office and Big O Tire, and the New Creations Inn property at 2990 East Main, all have been granted a C General Commercial zoning. Thus, there is an established precedent in applying C General Commercial at this location. The Fire District has proposed a minor subdivision for this property to create 3 lots consistent with commercial zoning, in a configuration not unlike the neighboring NNS subdivision to the east. As proposed, there would be 2 smaller lots adjacent to East Main Street and a larger lot to the south. Lot 1 would be 40,459 square feet, or approximately 0.93 acres in area, while Lot 2 would be 32,679 square feet, or 0.75 acres in area. As the 2 smaller lots within this proposed subdivision, they exceed minimum lot size required under the C General Commercial District, which is 5,280 square feet, by a considerable amount. Both of these lots do not have end users established at this point in time. The largest lot would be Lot 3. It is intended as the location for the future Fire Station Number 3 to be processed by a forthcoming application for site plan. Lot 3 would be 187,563 square feet, or 4.31 acres in area, and would encompass a shared common access drive extending south from Main Street to provide access to all 3 lots. City staff finds this arrangement of lots to be an efficient use of these acreage parcels along the East Main Street corridor, in that it consolidates curb cut access to Main Street while ensuring each lot has ingress and egress. It is the same concept used not only in the NNS subdivision, but also at the Best Corner subdivision at the intersection of Steinmeier and East Main, where you will find Jewett's Liquors and Champion Express Car Wash. Obviously, the internal circulation for each lot and its parking requirements will be evaluated as site plans are submitted for each lot, and each lot will be required to install curb, gutter, and sidewalk along their frontage of East Main Street as they develop. Planning Commission should note that if approved, the minor subdivision must, of necessity, lag behind the finalization of the annexation and zoning, as the city won't have the legal jurisdiction to subdivide the land until the state of Colorado is informed of the annexation has occurred. Staff anticipates the minor subdivision will likely be recorded sometime in March. Now, in terms of the evaluation of these, as discussed earlier, there is a distinction to be drawn between a first-time zoning request and a rezoning of a parcel already within the city limits. Zonings happen concurrently with an annexation and are therefore not subject to the criteria used to evaluate rezoning requests. With this in mind, zonings must be considered against the recommendations of the city's comprehensive plan, as well as the precedents the city has established with similar requests along this portion of East Main Street. As Planning Commission is aware, the city is currently updating our comprehensive plan, which was last updated in 2001. Even as long ago as that, the current comprehensive plan understood the commercial potential of the East Main Street corridor and recommended future land uses as part of annexations include commercial designations. A commercial designation for this property continues the pattern of zonings applied to new annexations along the corridor for the last decade. I previously mentioned, obviously, the neighboring NNS subdivision, as well as the Great Western property and the New Creations Inn. Therefore, staff finds the requested C General Commercial District to be not only consistent with the recommendations of the comprehensive plan, but also the established policies and practices for parcels along the East Main Street corridor. With respect to the minor subdivision request, Staff notes that the 3-lot configuration for the property would create 3 lots for commercial use which adhere to the minimum lot frontage and acreage area requirements specified in the C General Commercial Zone District as defined by the municipal code. It also consolidates the access for all 3 lots to a single point of ingress and egress along Main Street, yet still provides for adequate internal access to each lot via a shared common access driveway. This particular 3-lot configuration is not without precedence for development along East Main Street. This configuration creates opportunities for sales tax generating commercial uses on the 2 lots adjacent to Main Street by maximizing their visibility from Highway 50, and it allows for larger office-type commercial within the interior of the subdivision. All 3 lots will be required to establish curb, gutter, and sidewalk along their Main Street frontage, which is required with minor subdivision. These will be addressed as part of the evaluation of forthcoming site plans on each lot, which means, in all other respects, this proposal is consistent with the requirements for minor subdivisions as stated in Title 16, Appendix A of the Canyon City Municipal Code. So with that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission conduct a public hearing on this project, and following that, cite the 5 findings of fact on these land use requests as stated in Section 6 of the staff report. Staff further recommends that Planning Commission recommend that City Council approve the zone request for the Fire District property at 3020 East Main Street to C General Commercial District. And finally, staff recommends that Planning Commission recommend that City Council approve the Fire Station minor subdivision request at 3020 East Main Street. That would conclude the staff presentation. As always, I'm happy to answer any questions that Planning Commission may have. Also present to speak on behalf of this project is Fire Chief David Delvecchio, as well as Matt Koch, the surveyor who drew up the plat.
Thanks, Patrick. We'll start with questions of staff from the commission. No? Dee Dee?
Patrick, I just have a question. So I know that we're going to be using the C General Commercial as a permit use. So I was just looking at that list. I thank you for providing that list to us. And obviously, I don't see the fire district on there. And so I just want to, is it like the city, county, state, federal facility uses and building? Is that?
That's correct. We did a similar situation 2 years ago with the police annex up on, I think it's North Ohio. That was an old office building that was under a special review use for just that medical office use, and we had to rezone it to have just the state government, local government type of office uses there.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Smith?
My question might be to Chief DeVecchio or to Patrick. Is it a safety necessity, or is it required that we have some sort of emergency light or something on Main Street so when the fire trucks come out?
So, as you may recall, there is an access control plan that's being developed for the Highway 50 corridor. That location where it accesses East Main Street there is a way to get onto, I think, the Highway 50 corridor, but that location is not due for a signal, nor will this property or the development of this property trigger a signal at this location. The signal will remain at Steinmeier.
Okay. All right, thank you.
I have a question about that. So egressing Highway 50 then would start at the frontage road, through the stop sign, through the other stop sign, and then on to Highway 50?
Well, correct. I mean, they can make a left turn if they go straight from their lot across Main Street, and presumably they will have lights and sirens blaring in the event of an emergency so that they could, through a gap in traffic, get on there. But their alternative would be either to go to Steinmeier or to go over to Reynolds to get onto Highway 50 if they need to make a left turn movement there.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say this. Frequenting that frontage road, that as I do, me personally, I'd recommend it, if nothing else, a flashing light that would go on when you're coming through there, because you can sit at that stop sign for a long time trying to get across all 4 lanes of traffic if you need to go left without going all the way down to, what is it, Ash? No. Reynolds, yes. Thank you. To get off of that frontage road.
Well, they are going to have lights and sirens.
Well, you know how that works out.
I,
If you've ever been on the intersection where the fire truck's coming through, it's amazing how many people can't see or hear that.
Chief, would you like to come up and talk about that? How you guys will handle coming out onto the highway corridor?
Thank you for having me here tonight. That's a question that we have looked at. When we look at a station location, we look at our response routes, response times. So with that particular location, we have taken into account the response area for that station, which a lot of the response area will fall to the south of Main Street, East Main Street. So East Main Street will be a travel corridor for us for responses. And typically responding eastbound from that station location, if we need to access Highway 50, will be straight across from that driveway entrance, which is situated to the median cut on Highway 50. So we would utilize that Highway 50 access to go eastbound primarily. A lot of the westbound responses will use East Main. I have spoken with CDOT in the very beginning of this process about traffic control lights and what have you, and then not necessarily amenable to putting anything on Highway 50 right now for that purpose. We will probably have signage for the fire station, for emergency vehicle routes there on East Main. The traffic control plan that Patrick had spoken about for that area of Highway 50, depending on, and talking with CDOT anyways, depending on what happens with possibly the Abbey property and other development in that area, there could be a change in traffic signal orientation along that route, which would only help us, not hinder us. One other thing that I am looking at for the fire district is a traffic management system, which would be installed at all of the traffic control lights along Highway 50, and it's tied to the apparatus when they're in response mode only, and it would actually trigger those lights to change accordingly based on where the apparatus is coming from, which would help with a lot of the congestion at those traffic signals, especially along Reynolds, Orchard, and 15th Street with the frontage road, with the six-way intersection there. So that's part of our overall process, not directly tied to this station project, but
I need one of those things for my vehicle.
yeah. I hope that answered your question on that.
Yeah, it does, and I was, and I probably should make myself clear, I wasn't necessarily talking about a timed traffic signal like that, the one at Steinmeier or Reynolds. Generally, you see the emergency vehicle flashing light when flashing stop. It's a timed pause type signal.
Yeah, well, in the conversations with CDOT, because they have control over that aspect of it along Highway 50, one of the things that I'm going to try and push to get, at least at a minimum, is one of those lighted fire station crossing signals, so that we'll have access when we respond emergent with lights and siren from the station. We can activate that, so it'll at least give warning to people on Highway 50 and East Main that a fire truck is probably coming out somewhere, so.
Chief, do you have over here, do you kind of have a breakdown of the direction of most of your calls, whether they're east, west, south, or is it just kind of all over? Or, I mean, you're obviously putting this in this area for a reason, to cover the eastern portion of Canyon City.
So if you're familiar with our current station locations, we have two fire stations, one located on North 15th Street and one at 1349 Elm Avenue. So the eastern edge of the district, our district takes us out to, includes part of 4 Mile Ranch area there, Dakota Hideout, the prisons. We provide service to the prison on,
Yeah, the East Canyon Complex.
East
out
Canyon
there. Yes.
Complex. I'm drawing a blank on the street name.
Other side of 4 Mile Boulevard.
Right.
Yeah, in 4 Mile there. So there's, we don't have a lot of call volume to the very eastern edge of that. But coming back down to McKenzie and just west of McKenzie, we have quite a bit of call volume there down on Justice Center Road, in that area. We actually own a piece of property on Justice Center that was the intended site for this third station. But because of the size of that property, One of the key things with this station location is that we're gonna have a training facility there. So that's where that 4 acres comes into play. So we will have an actual training building, we'll be able to do live fire training there, as well as all the other types of ladder training and everything else that we do. So that's been lacking in this district since its inception. We try and muddle our way through those things. So that station pretty much splits east and west a little bit of what currently is the North 15th Street Station's response area. So we're gonna cut down response times dramatically to that area. And then some of the call volume for Station 1 on North 15th Street will decrease for that edge of the city, but their response district's gonna move more west, where Station 2 on Elm Avenue now comes from Elm Avenue, and they cover all the way up 8 Mile to the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park and all that area. That comes from our Station 2 on Elm Avenue. So that's all gonna change too. So with
right.
this third station, it's really gonna be able to allow us to reallocate our response areas and cut down on those long response times.
And will there be a opportunity for hiring more jobs?
Yeah, we
More
actually,
staff?
Monday, I have 4 new firefighters starting. One of those is a replacement to a vacated position. 3 of those are new positions, 1 on each of our 3 shifts. We operate with a 3-shift system. And then when the station is completed, on top of that, we have a major remodel project for the existing Station 1 and 2, which were built in 1983 and 84 and haven't been touched since, basically. And then when that is completed, the target date is January of 2023. We intend to hire 6 more firefighters.
Okay.
And I actually have a
Good.
grant opportunity that will, hopefully, if we get the grant, it'll cover the cost of those firefighters for 3 years.
Good.
So,
Great. Thank you, sir.
you're welcome.
Any other questions for the applicant? Okay. Let's see. Looks like the project representative is on a Zoom call. Do you have anything to add?
Lawrence, that's you.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything to add at this point. I think that everything has been well covered. We are aware of sort of the traffic issue that we're facing with the 2 retail lots all having a common access. And I think we're working on trying to resolve that so that we don't have any impact on response time.
Okay, thank you. Any comments from the audience?
I'll add just one thing, I should have said when I was up there.
Sure.
This station project,
If you don't, if you don't talk in the mic, we don't get it recorded. Sorry.
this station project has been a long time in the works. Back in 2006, the fire district hired an outside consultant to assess the district, and they identified back then that we needed a 3rd station. And due to economic concerns over the years and different taxing issues and what have you, they've never been able to pull this project off. This is a prime opportunity for us with the purchase of that piece of property on East Main to finally get that 3rd station. And unfortunately, we're probably very, very close to needing the 4th station, but at least the 3rd station is going to help at this point, so.
Thank you, Chief. Any additional questions or comments from the commission? Okay, hearing none. I now close this public hearing. Looks like we have 3 motions. First one, I need a motion and a second for the planning commission to adopt the 5 findings of fact as stated in the staff report.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to accept the 5 findings of fact as noted in the staff report.
I'll second.
Okay, second from Commissioner Smith. Denise, please call roll.
Commissioner Clark?
Aye.
Commissioner Smith?
Aye.
Chairman Maloney?
Aye.
Commissioner Clement? Aye. Commissioner Ledoux?
Aye.
Commissioner Moss?
Aye.
Commissioner Suther?
Aye.
Thank you. I now need a motion and a second for the planning commission to recommend that the city council approve the zoning request for the fire station at 3020 East Main Street.
I can do that, Chairman. I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council for the City of Canyon City approve the zoning request for the fire station property at 3020 East Main Street to C General Commercial District.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Denise, please call roll.
Commissioner Randy Smith,
Aye.
Commissioner Moss,
Aye.
Commissioner Maloney, Chairman Maloney, sorry,
Aye.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Aye.
Commissioner Suther.
Aye.
Thank you. And last but not least, I need a motion and a second for the Planning Commission to recommend that City Council approve the fire station minor subdivision at that same address.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to move that the Planning Commission recommend that the City Council for the City of Canyon City approve the fire station minor subdivision at 3020 East Main Street.
Thank you.
Second.
Who was that? Oh, thank you. Okay. Denise, please call roll.
Commissioner Clark,
Aye.
Commissioner Suther,
Aye.
Chairman Maloney,
Aye.
Commissioner Clement,
Aye.
Commissioner Ledoux,
Aye.
Commissioner Moss.
Aye.
Okay, all passed. Moving on to City Council. Thank you guys for the presentation and for showing up.
Thank you.
Item number 5, announcements, Joint City Council Planning Commission meeting.
Certainly. So this is just to make sure you're all aware, and if you're available to attend on Zoom, we will be having a joint Planning Commission City Council meeting the evening of Wednesday, February 10th. This is where we're going to begin to show you some of the chapters associated with land use in the new comprehensive plan update. So I think it'll be a very informative meeting. Our hope is, I believe we're supposed to be getting documents related to this at a staff level to read early next week, and then we'll put the agenda together once we've sort of given them critiques and things that may need to be changed in that. We'll put the documents together and assemble an agenda that we'll send out to Planning Commission and City Council probably late next week.
Is that going to be 6 o'clock?
I believe that will be a 6 p.m. meeting, yes.
Okay.
Patrick, what day was that again?
Wednesday, February 10th.
Thank you.
Please send a reminder out
Of
because
course.
that's so far away from me right now.
Of course.
Thank you, Patrick.
Sure.
Anything else? Quiet night? Another quiet night.
Good.
Okay, we are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.